Okay, so I'm going to show you how I rehair my little pony. There's probably other ways to do it. This is the way I do it. So what you need is a pony, preferably with her hair already out, preferably cleaned. This one still has some rust that I haven't taken care of, so I won't put her tail in permanently. As you can see back there, that's pretty common on light coloured ponies. You'll need some little spray bottle with water in it. You'll need wash and wear glue. I'm in Australia, so I've probably got a different brand to most people. Basically, you use a permanent fabric glue, and it helps if it's a flexible one, and it will say it's machine wash and dry, which means once it's dried, it can get wet and it won't come undone. I don't usually end up washing my ponies all that much after I've done their hair. I haven't had any trouble with this brand. Pretty sure I got that from Spotlight. You will need some cable ties. These are what I use to for the new tails, so I don't have any metal things to crimp. You don't really want to use a metal washer. I find these work really well. I use a few of them. When I put them in the pony, you can put a little bit of glue just to hold them in place, but I've found that they pretty much stay by themselves after you've put them in. Pair of scissors for cutting things. A pipe cleaner. Now, it doesn't need to be the fuzzy ones, but there's a lot of craft done in my house, so my kids like these fuzzy ones, so I've got the fuzzy ones. It doesn't really matter if it's a fuzzy one or not. Basically, you just need something that will hold its shape, because that helps you pull the tail through the pony's through the tail hole when you put the tail in. You will need a rerouting tool. I suppose you could do it without a rerouting tool, but it would make it very hard. These are pretty easy to find online. Just look up doll rerouting tool. I can't remember the exact site where I got mine. I know it was somewhere in Australia though, but I am pretty sure that Shimmer Locks, which is the site that I use for most of my pony hairing stuff, sells these now. So it's just a little tool. It holds onto the needle here. You can probably get them elsewhere. I wouldn't know what they're called though. So doll rerouting tool. Found this to be extremely useful. You will need needles. My needles I get from Shimmer Locks. I buy the size 5 ones. You probably could make these yourself, but there is a lot of controversy around when you snip the tip of the needle. So they just come just like that. Now that gold one there is one I made myself with a needle. But because I don't really have the right tool to snip the tip, I find those little prongs are not very good, whereas these ones are a lot better. So basically it's just a needle with a large eye that's had the top snipped off, and you get them snipped off at an angle. It makes it easier to hold the hair if they're snipped at an angle. I go through quite a lot of these because you will either bend or break your needle. Every time I rehair, at the end I will have a needle count of how many needles did I use. I think the last time I did a rehair I only used 2. The first time I did a rehair I used 5, and one of the needles I actually broke as opposed to bending. So just be aware, you probably will go through a lot of needles even when you're sort of done it a few times. It's just sometimes sometimes that needle just doesn't want to go back into that hole. If the hole's too small and you can tell it's too small, you can slowly poke a needle through that hole first to try to open it up a little bit. But also sometimes you hold it at the wrong angle and you bend that needle. So they're not expensive. you can make them yourself if you've got something that's going to snip that metal. You'd have to experiment with what size needles are, but I buy size 5. Now, rerouting needles, you can pretty much buy these from just about any place that you can buy a rerouting tool. Nearly all the places sell them. They sell all different sizes. I've found number 5 to be the one I prefer for ponies. A lot of the sites will also give you a guide on their site saying which sizes are best for what type of rerouting that you're doing. And the other thing you need, of course, is hair. I buy a lot of my hair from Shimmerlocks. I really, really like this hair. It's really nice quality. It's really beautiful colour. Now, this one is called Posey, and it is supposed to be a match for Fading Pink, but it is too dark. It is noted on the site that this is darker than a normal Fading Pink. So if you're looking for Fading Pink, this is not a match for Fading Pink. It is darker. I don't really care that this is a little bit too dark for a Posey, because it's Posey. To me, Posey is sort of she's not very rare, and I like her with bright pink hair. I mean, her flowers are bright pink. She should be bright pink. You can get this hair in other places. Dolly Hair is one that sells a nice quality hair. I've bought hair from another place as well. So that's a Shimmerlocks hair. This is a Dolly Hair. They are very similar in the quality of hair. So either of these are good. Dolly Hair has a tendency to be a bit slow on their orders. But right now orders are very slow no matter where you are, especially living in Australia. So I am having to import all my hair. I'm pretty sure Shimmerlocks and Dolly Hair are both US. So if you're in the US, you'll probably get them a bit faster. But I've never had an order not be filled. So just have to be patient. The other hair I have bought was from custompony.com. This one is called Fading Rose, and it is a much closer match for Fading Pink. It's almost identical, but I don't actually like the feel of this hair. These hairs are very, very silky. This hair is a bit stiffer feeling. So I don't recommend this hair, but I mean, it's up to the person, really. I mean, yeah, it's good quality. I just don't like this hair as much. How it feels after you finish with it. I've tried washing it. I haven't got it to come to a consistency that I enjoy. So it's really up to the person what they prefer. Right now, Shimmerlocks is probably my favourite place to get pony hair. This is 1 hank of hair. It's 15 grams. This will rehair you one pony, one adult pony. I'm not sure about male. Males might take a little bit more hair. I've only rehaired one male pony, and I used the entire bag. Whereas when I have rehaired female ponies, I tend to have a little bit of hair left over. So that also would come down to how much hair you put in a plug, how much hair you put in their tail. But 1 hank should rehair one adult pony. Okay, I think that's all the things you need. The other thing you need is time, patience. Patience is very important. And probably a podcast or something to put on to listen to while you hopefully don't pull your hair out in frustration. Okay. Now down to the fun part. First thing you got to do is get your hair out of your packet. So, the hair comes like this. Nice, long, one piece, little hair tie in the centre. So what I do is I find the centre of the hair, or thereabouts. So just sort of smooth it out until you've got it even on either side. undo your little twisty tie that comes on it, you're going to want to keep that. Okay, so this bit always makes me nervous, but you cut this in half. As close to as perfectly in half as you can, because you want it to be roughly the same length. Okay, so then you take one half and you put it aside. This pony hair can be kind of hard to work with, but them's the breaks. So then I just put it in half again, put the little tie around just to keep it all together. And basically what's going to happen is this half I will use to make a tail, the other half I will use to make a mane. So I generally put this back in the bag because you just want it to stay nice. You don't want it going everywhere if you can help it. Stick it in there. Right. Then you pick up your other half of the hair. This is where the water comes in handy, because if you wet this hair, it stays together nicer and it makes it easier to pull out a plug. Now, like I said, this is just the way I've learned to do it. I don't know if it is the correct way. I generally just put the hair down in front of me like that, and you probably can't really see on the camera properly, but yeah, I can't see what I'm doing here because I'm holding a phone. But as you, I don't know if you can see, the hair actually starts to like separate into little individual sort of plugs by itself. The water helps this because it will make a few strands stick together. Okay, so the water helps plugs form, but that's really more up to you. I mean, that just makes it easier. The hair's wet, so a few strands will stick together. How big a plug is really up to you. You learn to work out how much you think will go into one of these little holes. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know what the holes on the back of Mahoney's head look like. Yeah, Hasbro was really great at making them straight, uniform, and the same. So I usually start at the front of the head and go back, just because I find it easier. Also, after you've done, well, after you get to back here, then you've got two lots. So you don't want a lot of hair that's going to get in your way while you're working, because the way I do it, there's nothing actually holding that hair in the head until you glue it at the end. I don't use the knot method. I have tried the knot method. I've not had it work for me, so I don't use it. So if you want the knot method, I'm not the person to ask. So what you do is you pull out a strand of pony hair. This will be your plug. This might be a little bit not enough. I'm not sure. I usually tell by the needle. So what you do is you get your pony hair. You get it to be about even on both sides, so find the halfway point. I wrap it over my finger, and then you slide. You get your pony hair to stay together first. You slide the prong of the needle under. This is why you want one longer than the other, because it makes it easier to do that. And then you've got the hair caught on the tool. Then what you do is you take your pony, you get your prong. Now when you push it in this hole, you want to try to keep it straight, or you're going to bend your needle. You watch, I'll bend my needle now. You push it all the way in. Then you let go of the hair, you pull it out, and voila, pony hair. Now it's going to look wispy, it's going to look horrible, don't worry about it. You fix that at the end. So I generally end up spraying my hair heaps when I do it, just to help me separate out a strand. So I generally do it this way. I sort of just look at it and go, yeah, that looks about right. It's something that you just have to do and eyeball it, and eventually you will get to the point where you go, oh yeah, that looks like the right amount. If you don't pick up enough hair and you put it in and it doesn't look right, you can pull it out and do it again. If you put in too much hair and it doesn't look right, exactly the same thing again. So you get your hair, you make it about the same length on each side. It doesn't really matter that much if it is, because this hair is going to be a lot longer than you need it to be. I personally like my ponies with hair that's way too long, but I'll show you a pony with hair that has not been trimmed. So yeah, you put your hair. I like putting it over my finger because it makes it easier for me to see it. I haven't used great colour for this, but this is the only pony I had that I could hair right now. Pick it up. Now see, now this one I've actually picked up more. So even my plugs are not uniform. This might be a little bit too much. And you find that hole, you line it up, and then you push in, pull out, and you've got a second plug of hair. So, and then basically you've got to do that to every single hole. If you've got two holes that are too close together and you know they're going to split, you might just want to put a little bit extra in that hole. And also you can add like a little bit of glue to where the holes are if you're worried they're going to split in between them. I haven't had a problem with it yet. I haven't had any split on me, but I've not had a pony that's been really, really bad in the plugs in the holes. So you get out small hair. And I haven't kept my hair wet enough, so it's separating on me and going everywhere, which is really not fun. This can be a bit of a messy job. You also tend to tell if you've got enough for a plug because you know how much looks like should be on your needle. Now, of course, you will lose some hair in the process of doing this. It's just going to happen. So get it as straight as you can. Push, and voila. Now this is really boring, this bit, so I think I will come back when I have done some more, because yeah, this takes a long time. It's pretty boring. I find it actually takes a lot less time than I thought it would the first time I looked at a pony and I looked at all those holes and I went, oh no, I'm going to be here forever. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So I will come back when she is either done or much closer to done. So I'm not finished, but I have had my first mishap. Probably can't see it. I have actually broken one of the prongs off this needle as opposed to bending it. So the camera doesn't want to focus. You can see there. So I was pushing, and snap. So somewhere inside here is half of a needle head. So yeah, and progress. She's getting there slowly. I'm also finding her hair's still damp. If you just run a really, like a big tooth comb gently through, you're going to pull some of this hair loose. It just makes it nicer while you're working with it. And then you just put that aside. I don't think you can save that. As you can see, I've got a little pile going on of all the hairs that have come loose so far. And I'm probably maybe a quarter of the way done. I've gotten to where the double rows are. I'll do all one row and then I'll do the next row. And I've killed my first needle, so done pretty good this time. Okay, so I'm right in the last couple of holes. I've used nearly all my hair here. I'm sort of freaking out a little bit, but it's okay because you usually don't need the whole. You don't need the whole half to make a tail. So I've gone through. This is my backup needle. So I've been snapping a lot of needles today. Don't know if you can even see, there are only 2 holes left. So you line them up. The most important thing is try to keep it straight. I think that's why I've been snapping the prongs. I've been getting them straight. It's the last little bit of hair to separate out. Wow, just under half a hanky. Just. I think I've actually been making my plugs a little bigger than normal today, but it's not. The pony just looks more hairy for it, and I mean, who doesn't love a pony with a luscious mane? Okay, so this is my last plug. Hopefully, well, I suppose if I snap my needle now, it doesn't matter. In we go. So I didn't bend any needles this time, but I did snap them. So look at this. I had maybe a plug, maybe 2, no, probably 1 left. So I've used more hair than normal today. Then we spray down the hair. Just to keep it nice and wet. Now you have to do this really carefully. I use a wide tooth comb because this hair will pull out of the head if you are too rough on it, but if you're very gentle, it just sort of gets off any loose hairs. And she now has a mane, so that's that part. That's the hardest part done, is to rehair the mane. Of course, you could do this with rainbows, stripes. Obviously more difficult because you'd have to keep track of how many plugs of each colour. So single hair colour is a lot easier to start off with. So if I'm clever here, I'll turn my camera around. And if you look inside, you can see the hair has been pushed a little way into her head. That's what's holding it there. Of course, that's why you push the needle all the way in too. That way it pushes the hair further inside the head to fix it there. So, around. This is when you get your glue. I'm not sure I actually have enough glue. I've been using this glue for a while, so we can live in hope. Probably make sure she's dry. She's got a few little drops of water on from the hair. I mean, the hair isn't really wet. It's slightly damp. And basically what you do with this glue is you squirt it down in here. Like I said, I don't think I've got enough glue, so I might not do it right now. But you squirt it in here and you put heaps of it, like lots and lots. You might want to get a cotton bud and put it in after you've put glue in there, and just sort of, you know, push gently to sort of get the glue right up against the hair. But yeah, use a lot of this, so heaps of it. I've not had a problem with it coming out through the holes and into the mane. So you just put in there, carefully sort of move it around, and then I usually leave the head upside down like this. I usually will find something to sort of balance it on. And then you leave it to dry. I usually leave it at least 2 days. Depends though, if you've used, like if there's a lot of glue there, you might need to leave it a little bit longer. But basically you leave it alone until it is glued, until the glue has dried, because before that you can pull this hair out by accident, and then you'd have to put more in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my glue's empty, so I'm not going to glue her now. But once they're dry, then you can brush her hair and style it however you want. Cut it to make it shorter, if that's what you want to do. I think I promised to show you a pony where I haven't cut her hair. I don't like cutting their hair because I'm not good at it. This is what a flutter pony looks like if you do not cut that hair. So it is very, very long from one of these. I'm pretty sure she was haired with Shimmerlock's hair. So this is how long your hair is going to come out if you don't cut it, which is very, very long. It's very, very pretty, but it's very, very hard to keep nice. So she's waiting for a pair of replacement wings. So now the other thing left to do is a tail. So this is when you get to the other half of your hair. Now I find that you don't really need a whole half hank to make the tail, because you don't want to overstuff the tail hole. I've seen customs where it's been done, and I personally don't like the look. Some people might, I mean, if you like it, that's up to you. It's your pony in the end. I usually will. Now, the thing to remember is when you pick up your hair, it's going to be double because this folds. So you basically just have to judge about how much hair, you know, that's not enough. You're going to need some more. Now I haven't wet this because I'm taking big pieces as opposed to little pieces. If you wet it, it does make it easier to work with because it sticks together. So this is probably about half of it, and that looks about right. So what I do then is I might wet it just to keep it together. Just smooth it down with your hands. This is where your pipe cleaner comes in. This is when I get a pipe cleaner. So I get a pipe cleaner and I find around about the halfway mark again. I mean, you've still got time to adjust this after you've done this. So then you fold this, twist it a couple of times, so you've got like a sort of little ponytail sort of thing going on. Now the rest of the hair, you can either put it away or whatever you're going to do with it. I usually put the little twisty tie that came with it back on it, just to keep it nice, otherwise it will go everywhere. And I wouldn't want to have to try to untangle a large amount of this. Now it's trying to come out of its little thing just to annoy me. I'm having a very interesting day here. I'm breaking needles and my hands don't want to work. Okay. I always keep it in the bag that it came in, mainly because it's labelled, so you're going to know what colour that is. Then you get this. This is the scary part for the pony. So you get the pipe cleaner, you put it in her towel hole, and you keep pushing until you can get a hold of the pipe cleaner through her neck, like that, and then you just pull. Now here I can see that I could put more hair in that tail. It's a little bit thin. Then you pull the pony until you've got the tail here. So I've decided I want a little bit more hair in that tail because it's quite thin. So you just untwist it. And you could do the same if you find it's too much. Just be careful that you don't actually damage your tail hole. Remember, these ponies, they're old, and yeah, you don't want to be too rough on them. I don't need very much, only a little bit. So maybe half of this, quarter of this, probably about a half of this. Just add it in. Wet it down again just to help it stick. Okay, so you do the same thing again. Fold it in half. Put your pipe cleaner. Oh, see, I'm getting everything stuck today. Put your pipe cleaner through without getting tangled. Just doesn't want to not do it. It doesn't want to do it today. Okay. Twist it just to hold it nice and firm. And through the tail hole again. Push until you can grab them through her neck hole. Now this is actually a lot harder with the flutter pony, for instance, because she has a very small neck hole. I had to reach down into her with a needle nose pair of pliers to grab the pipe cleaners when they went through. So there we go. Nice full tail. Not too full, as in if it's too full, this plastic sort of like pushes out and it doesn't look right. Somewhere I have one that I had overstuffed, but I'm not sure where it is. So this is the rest of it. So this is where your cable ties come into play. I've got to make sure I get it the right way. I'm very good at getting these the wrong way. There we go, got it the right way. So now I've caught it, haven't I? Have extra ones just in case. So when you're happy that you've found the middle, you get your cable tie, you put it around, and you cable tie it, and you pull it tight as you can, because this is going to stop your pony's tail from going anywhere. And you take the pipe cleaner off. I wouldn't leave the pipe cleaner on because there's metal inside of this and you don't want any rust. And I don't know if this is the type of metal that rusts or not, but also you've got like this fluffy stuff. You don't want to know what happens to that if that gets wet. It could be pretty nasty inside that pony. So you pull that really tight. You snip off the tail. I've got these really long ones. It would probably be better if you get the smaller tails. I prefer to use the clear ones just because then you're not going to be able to see them through the pony's plastic. Also, I'd be worried that the coloured ones the colour might leach and stain your pony, which you don't want. And then I get another cable tie and I put it around the tie that's already there. So this is just what I do to make sure it's extra secure. So when you bring your cable tie in, bring it in tight behind the cable tie that you've already put in. So sort of like that. Pull it tight. My hands are getting in the way because I'm left-handed. My camera's in the wrong spot. Oh. Not used to doing things on camera for people. Okay. So pull that tight. Then pull it up snug, so it's sort of like this. So it's like a sort of a knot. Then you find that when you snip that off, you could do that an extra time if you want to. I've not had a problem with only doing it twice. Then you just pull the tail back through, and then you've got a nice tail. Again, if you wanted to, you could dab some of this fabric glue in here to hold this tail. I haven't found a problem with it, but that said, I don't play with my ponies. They only get displayed. So I don't know, maybe if you were doing this for a pony that might be played with, you might put some glue to hold this in place, obviously on the inside though, and cover those cable ties nicely with that. Now this pony, like I said, I can't finish it properly because I don't have any glue, but when you're finished, the head goes back on. If it wants to go back on, it doesn't want to go back on. And then you have a My Little Pony who now has beautiful, new, extremely long hair. So yeah, once your glue's dried, do what you will with the hair, style it, trim it, and then you've got a pony whose mangy old tail, which wasn't in this video because by the time I got to doing this video, I'd already taken her hair out. Her hair had gone all white and dingy looking, as a fading pink pony generally does. So yes, she's a little bit dark, but I think she looks really good like that. And that's how I rehair a My Little Pony.